The Serendipitous Encounter. Sophie is a driven and ambitious college student who's always busy with her studies and extracurricular activities. She spends most of her days on campus, buried in books and notes. One day, feeling burned out and in need of a break, Sophie decides to take a stroll around the city. As she's wandering, she comes across a quaint little bookstore with a sign that reads Books Beans. Sophie's a big reader, and she's always looking for new books to add to her collection. She decides to go in and take a look around. As she's browsing the shelves, she notices a handsome man behind the counter. He looks up and smiles at her, and she feels a flutter in her stomach. She takes a deep breath and walks up to him. "Hi, can I help you with something?" He asks. Yeah, actually," Sophie stammers. "I'm looking for a good book to read." The man's name is Jack, and he's a book enthusiast as well. He's happy to recommend some of his favorite titles to Sophie, and the two of them strike up a conversation. They talk about books for hours, discussing everything from classic literature to contemporary bestsellers. Sophie feels like she's finally met someone who understands her love of reading. As the sun begins to set, Sophie realizes that she's been in the bookstore for nearly the entire day. She starts to gather her things, but Jack insists on giving her his number. "I know this great coffee shop around the corner," he says. "Maybe we can grab a cup of coffee together tomorrow." Sophie hesitates for a moment, but then she decides to take a chance. She scribbles her number on a scrap of paper and hands it to Jack. "Sure, that sounds great," she says with a smile. The next day, Sophie arrives at the coffee shop, but Jack isn't there. She waits for a while, but he doesn't show up. Feeling disappointed and a little embarrassed, she assumes he's changed his mind. Days turn into weeks, and Sophie continues with her busy schedule, barely giving Jack another thought. But every time she walks past the bookstore, she can't help but feel a pang of regret. One day, as she's rushing to a class, she hears someone call out her name. It's Jack. He's standing outside the bookstore, looking a little flustered. "I'm so sorry I didn't show up last time," he says. "I got called away unexpectedly and lost my phone, so I couldn't get in touch with you." Sophie is surprised to see him, but also relieved. She had been worried that she had done something wrong to scare him off. They start talking again, and Jack explains that he's been thinking about her a lot since they met. He asks her out on a proper date, and she agrees. Over time, Sophie and Jack continue to spend more and more time together. They explore the city, trying out new coffee shops and restaurants. They even take a day trip to the beach, laughing and joking the whole way there. As their friendship deepens, Sophie realizes that she's fallen in love with Jack, but she's not sure if he feels the same way. One night, as they're sitting on a park bench watching the stars, Sophie finally musters up the courage to tell Jack how she feels. "I know this might sound crazy," she says, "but I think I'm in love with you." Jack says widen, and he takes her hand. "I'm so glad you said that," Jack says with a smile, "because I've been in love with you since the day we met." Sophie's heart races as she looks into Jack's eyes. They lean in for a kiss, and it's like everything falls into place. Over the next few weeks, Sophie and Jack's relationship blossoms into something beautiful. They share everything with each other, from their hopes and dreams to their deepest fears. Sophie can hardly believe that she found love in such an unexpected way. She's grateful for the serendipitous encounter that brought her and Jack together. As they walk hand in hand through the city, Sophie knows that she's exactly where she's meant to be. With Jack by her side, she feels like anything is possible. And although their love story started out as an unintentional encounter, she knows that it was meant to be all along.